Hey, y'all. Listen. Happy Friday. Welcome in the building. Welcome in the building. Welcome in the building. Happy Friday, people. I'm glad y'all here spending time with the Diva. Happy Friday. Listen, we have many days out before Thanksgiving. What did we? So if it's Thursday, it'd be 7 days. So we 8 days out, right, from Thanksgiving. Am I doing the math right? Let a sister know, okay? But soon Thanksgiving will be here. But in the meantime, we got stuff to talk about. It's called Outrage and Shock. Speaking of outrage and shock, I'm really shocked to know that Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker is over. I'm praying for them and rooting for them. But for her to say she's filing for a divorce, I really feel like something very egregious happened. And you know they love to say that, no, we're fine, we're still friends. It's just sad either way. And I'm rooting for them, and I'm glad that they seem to still be speaking to each other and co-parenting nicely, because, you know, she's going to be in a play out here in New York, and I'm going to go see the play, Juliet. It wasn't on my list, but because Kandi's in it, I'm going to put it on my list. So she's out here. She's going to be doing a play. Todd's watching the kids. I hope they can work this out. It's pretty sad. But anyway, on tonight's docket, it's called Outrage and Shock. We got the Brooklyn Wigmaker was sentenced. I don't know if y'all remember this story, but this woman had a problem with just speeding down the road. She was also an influencer, called herself the Wigmaker, made a lot of money. She should have never been driving because she had over 90 tickets. Was driving on a suspended license, was making a video while she was driving. She unalived 3 people, and it was all from the same family. It was a mom, her 2 daughters. And her son, the boy in the family, he survived barely. So she almost unalived 4 people. But you want to know what's wild? She did a plea deal, and she got a sentence of 3 to 9 years. You take the lives of 3 people, and your sentence is 3 to 9 years? You have got to be kidding me. What a joke. So you go and you buy yourself somebody off the streets to sleep with, and you get a trial like Diddy, and you get 50 months, 4.5 years in prison for the Mann Act, but you could take the lives of 3 people and you get 3 to 9 years? Make it make sense, people, because it's not making any sense. And then we got this cheer mom. I honestly don't know and don't understand where in the world did it happen that these parents are sleeping with their children friends. This mother was sleeping with 14-year-olds, and then she was sleeping with a 14-year-old, but she was sending messages, explicit messages, to other teenagers. And so when she got sentenced, you know it's bad when your own kid tells the judge to give you the maximum time. Your own kid asks the judge to give you the maximum time. Now, you know that's bad. Because the girl said, the mom, the hashtag nasty, you ain't lying, hashtag nasty. The girl said the mom destroyed their family. Said lock her up and leave her in there. This woman don't have a chance of seeing the light of day until she's 70. And if she does get out at that point, she has to register as a sex offender. Disgusting. And you know, the worst thing to me is when you have a pastor or a teacher, somebody who's supposed to live on a higher level of standards. You got this pastor. He beat his step child so bad, they were bleeding. First of all, I told y'all I don't believe in beating no kids. I don't. I never beat my son. Like ever. Never. It ain't necessary. For what? And the darn sure is not going to have no step pappy come up in here and beat my kid. It ain't happening. Like never. And then not only is it the stepdaddy, but the stepdaddy's supposed to have a calling from God because he's a pastor, and you beating a kid so bad he bleeding? We got stuff to talk about tonight. It's called Outrage and Shock. Y'all know what I need in the chat? Come on now with the look. Sasuke, thank you for being in there. Say holla at my mods, people. They in the streets working. I gave my godson a look, and he knows I'm not playing. Never hit kids either. Come on now. It's not necessary. Hitting on the kids and then wonder why they in these streets acting a fool. Come on to Dead. I appreciate you. I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Friday night trending topics. We got stuff to talk about. The title is Outrage and Shock. We got this Brooklyn Wigmaker sentenced to 3 to 9 years. And people are dead. And this chick had the nerve to say she don't feel that she should apologize to nobody. She was trying to game the system and say I could act like I'm schizophrenic. And now she's hiding money so she won't be hit with no civil lawsuits. This is an absolute joke. I don't understand it. Then we got the chairman fallout and the pastor arrested. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva, choo-choo.
Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all, this must be fall out of the sky Friday Night Revival. Because Crazy herself just made an announcement she leaving Congress.
Who?
Marjorie.
All right, so let me go ahead and share screen and let's get right into this story. Let's go with this Brooklyn pastor. Let me see. I'm saying Brooklyn pastor. I meant Atlanta pastor. So shock arrest. Atlanta pastor Kenneth McFarland arrested for child cruelty after beating stepson with a power cord until he bled. An investigation is ongoing. That's him right there. Got the nerve. Pastor Kenneth McFarland has been arrested after allegedly beating his stepson with a power cord until he bled. McFarland now faces charges of child cruelty. He has stepped down as associated pastor of Atlanta megachurch 2819 following his arrest. The 42-year-old was cuffed on November 10th after the assistant principal of his stepson's school, Creekside Christian Academy, called the cops. He became concerned after noticing bloodstains on the backside of the child's pants, the police report states. The assistant principal told the cops that the boy had an in-school suspension, and when he asked the child about the blood, the child claimed, "My dad called himself disciplining me." When asked what he was beaten with, the boy said he was struck with an extension cord, per the police report. He alleged that the pastor had taken the power cord from his gaming system and hit him with it before school to punish him for this suspension. The police reports notes that bruising was seen on the child's upper thigh and lower buttocks. McFarland was taken to Henry County Jail following his arrest. His LinkedIn profile states that he was previously an associate pastor at Victory Church in Atlanta. McFarland's sermons has been removed from 2819 church social media channels, according to church leaders. In 2023, lead pastor Philip Anthony Mishu said McFarland was an example of grace. He ain't no grace for the kid. He is not currently listed on the church official website. Following his arrest, 2819 Church issued a statement on X confirming that he has been indefinitely suspended. Per the church, he agreed to step down until a decision is made about his future at the church. McFarland was removed as a member of the staff on November the 18th, the church confirmed. His leaders took several steps to make sure that the situation was considered without haste and the well-being of everyone involved was considered. The church added that each member of its staff must uphold a standard of conduct that inspires others to draw closer to Jesus. The U.S. Sun has been unable to contact McFarland and has reached out to the Stockbridge Police Department for updates on the case. This is very sad. I don't like, how do you get that mad? Okay, the kid was suspended, but it's not that darn serious that you have to take a cord and beat somebody to the point where they're bleeding. In my opinion, your thoughts?
These people are angry and they abusing their kids as a way to get over their anger. And it's never a reason to be this violent with a kid. Never. Violence begets violence. So best believe if you're beating your kids like this, and I do mean beating, because you're not disciplining them now. We're taking it too far. You are going to get kids that are going to either be violent or so depressed that they're going to go into their shell and never be recovered. I feel like this is an egregious action and he should get as much time as they can give him. Because when you do this to a kid and hurt him to the point where he's bleeding, you're bodily harming him. And so this should be counted the same as it would be counted to another person, an assault. This was an assault on a kid. It was also reckless endangerment of a child and neglect of a child. And I want to see all three charges charged on him.
And where's the mother? Where's the mother?
And she's sorry too for letting this happen to a kid under her own nose.
That part. Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad the wannabe pastor is facing charges. Maybe someone could whoop him with an extension cord and see if he bleeds down his back like he did his child. If a child gets in-house suspension or suspended period from school, this is what you do. You make them do chores. You set a list. You make them clean the windows, wipe the blinds, fold the laundry, So, yes, I was suspended from elementary school for a couple of days. I'm not going to get into what I know, shocker, boo-hoo. But this is what I did. I had to do the clothes. I had to help clean the house. I had to do everything, okay? I had to fold the laundry. My parents are like, you want to cut for school? Okay, so this the consequence. You implement the constructive consequences. That's how I learned. So I know from experience. But these children here, sometimes when you know your certain way of disciplining ain't working, it's okay to go another route. The strike doesn't always work. So I'm glad he's where he's at. Um, and yeah, and I hope he stays there. And I hope the child, if the child's actual father is in the picture, I hope he could get full custody of his son.
Savannah, your thoughts?
So, Diva, there is no action that justifies the reaction of using an extension cord to cut this baby's skin open. That there is absolutely no justification. If he had his charges in school suspension, then take away his gaming system and some of the privileges he has, but don't abuse the baby to the point where he can't even sit there and his school is aware of.
You're breaking up there, Savannah. Can anybody else hear Savannah?
No, she went out.
Yeah. Hello, Savannah? Okay, I don't think Savannah, we're gonna hear Savannah. So maybe Savannah, you gotta go back in and go out and come. Oh, she did. Go out and come back in. All right. So listen, guys, we're gonna go ahead and roll into the next story. This pastor, what he did is egregious. I love to know where the mother was, and he beat him so bad beforehand, and you went to school and there was blood on your clothes. But you know what? Shout out to the school for calling the cops. So that worked out, right? Let me go ahead and let's roll into the next story. Which one am I gonna do? I'll do this chair, Mom. She's disgusting. Is this it? I don't know if that's the right one. Let me go here. Okay, this might be it.
News at 6 o'clock in Prairieville, where a mother is jailed after a 15-year-old boy claims she had sex with him on multiple occasions.
Leanne Yamarino is also accused of sexting with at least 3 other teens. News News Bess Casterly talked to the district attorney about those charges and why it seems crimes like these are happening more often. She's live in the newsroom.
Well, Michael, Sylvia, deputies became aware of the allegations after the 15-year-old told his parents. This Prairieville 43-year-old mom is facing felony charges for allegedly having sex with a 15-year-old on several occasions.
A 15-year-old can't consent to have sex with an adult, period.
Leanne Yamarino is also charged with indecent behavior with at least 3 other teens.
There's allegedly some photographs of her or some videos were sent to some other minors.
District Attorney Ricky Babin says, according to the sheriff's office, the victim wasn't forced to have sex with Yamarino, but his age makes it against the law.
43-year-old female was arrested for allegedly having consensual sex with a 15-year-old victim.
Consensual?
Consensual.
How do you define consensual?
Consensual means that it was, my understanding, it was not like a forced rape. It was not like a use of force, but that's all I know right now.
But under the law, given his age, it's a crime.
Correct.
In just Ascension Parish, there have been at least 4 arrests for sex crimes involving teen victims in the last 2 years.
I can't say that numbers have gone up, but I think the reporting of it has gotten more frequent. And I guess with social media.
In 2022, Heather French, a former paraprofessional at Galvez Middle, was arrested for child porn and video voyeurism. In February of 2023, Daquan Bellick, a custodian at Dutchtown High, was arrested for and admitted to having sex with a 16-year-old student. And in August of 2023, Rory Four, a Sanoma High School teacher, was accused of sexually abusing multiple teenagers. While Yamarino was not employed by Ascension Schools, she was heavily involved in an extracurricular activity at Dutchtown High School. And we're told the 15-year-old she had sex with is a student there.
I have to prosecute it. That's the law.
Babin says while culturally the seriousness of a situation like this tends to be viewed differently when the victim is a teen boy, his office doesn't see it that way.
The gender of the perpetrator and the gender of the victim is not relevant. The law says a person of this age has sexual contact with a person of that age, so it doesn't matter. A female can be the perpetrator, male can be the victim, and vice versa.
As of this evening, Yamarino is still in jail and no bond has been set. In the newsroom, Bess Casserly, WBRZ News 2.
Well, she was convicted. Let me share screen again. It's just disgusting. And everybody, it is, in my opinion, birthday. Happy birthday, in my opinion.
Happy birthday.
Happy born day, opinion.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So, Chia mom who had sex with daughter's 14-year-old classmate learns her fate. Her own child begs for the max sentence. Now, you know that's bad. A Louisiana Chia mom who had sex with her daughter's 14-year-old classmate has been sentenced to 26 years in prison after her own child begged for her to get the harshest penalty possible. Leanne Yamarino, 45, pleaded no contest to having sex with a 14-year-old who went to her daughter's school in Ascension, while also sexting at least 5 other teenagers. Her young daughter addressed the court on Tuesday, begging for her mom to get the maximum penalty for ruining her family's life, the outlet said. The self-styled Chia mom, who looked teary-eyed and red-faced in her mugshot, sobbed and bowed her head throughout the sentence hearing. The judge agreed, giving the twisted mom the maximum 10 years in prison for both counts she faced for carnal knowledge, as well as 3 years for each indecent behavior charge. The sentences will run consecutively, adding up to 26 years, meaning that Yamarino would be over 70 before she is free again. She will then have to register as a sex offender for the rest of her life. The mom, who was heavily involved in the school cheerleading squad, has been behind bars since her arrest in July last year. The school district attorney, Ricky Babin, had called her a threat because her victims are minors. It wasn't an isolated incident. So yes, in my opinion, she is a danger, he told the news. Police were first alerted when the 14-year-old Dutchtown High School student came forward in July 2024, alleging that he had sex with her twice since January. 5 other students, ages 14 to 16, then accused the mom of sending them lewd texts, including videos of herself. This girl is freaking disgusting. Well, now she got a whole lifetime to think about it because she won't be getting out until she's 70. In my opinion, your thoughts?
She shouldn't be getting out at all. I feel like these type of people, they need to stay locked up forever. You are violating a kid and expecting them to ever get over this. They're going to suffer with this for the rest of their life. And she needs to stay behind bars for the rest of her natural born life. You know, I ain't a fan of the injustice inside the jail, but I hope somebody give her a little piece of that justice in there. She deserves every bit of it.
Wayne, I'm coming to you, but let me just hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me just show one more thing. Give me 1 second, Wayne. I'm coming to you. Hold on. And then you send in videos. Oh. Okay, wait, that is the wrong one there. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, this is one. Katrina, 1 second. I'm coming to you to let you in.
Z investigative unit. Prairieville mom arrested, accused of having sex with a 15-year-old last year, is now facing additional charges involving other teens. 43-year-old Leanne Yamarino is accused of sexting 5 other underage boys. The investigative unit's Bess Casserly in the newsroom tonight explaining these latest charges.
Michael, while these additional charges are new, they occurred during the same time period as the older charges. Dutchtown High parent Leanne Yamarino has been in jail since her July 2024 arrest for alleged sex offenses with multiple teenage boys. Tonight, the WBRZ investigative unit has learned there are even more purported victims than previously thought.
We received some supplemental reports from the sheriff's office was clarified some things. So we did amend the bill, and there's been a couple of charges added.
The 43-year-old was originally booked for having sex with a 15-year-old on 2 separate occasions, as well as indecent behavior with that victim and 3 others.
It deals with any lewd behavior directed toward a minor, like sending text or emails, photographs.
Nude photographs?
Nude.
Since then, investigators have discovered 2 additional teens Yamarino was sexting, bringing the total number of teens she was inappropriate with to 6. Their ages range from 14 to 16. Though she has been in jail for 9 months, she does have a bond, amended with the new charges to $350,000.
So she has a bond. She can bond.
District Attorney Ricky Babin says,
Based on a number of counts.
for now, it's better she stays there. In your opinion, is she a danger to the public?
Yes.
Why?
Her victims are minors. And it's multiple counts. It wasn't an isolated incident. So, yes, in my opinion, she is.
He says this case is unique due to the fact that Yamarino is a married mother of a teenager and was highly involved in extracurricular activities at Dutchtown.
Unfortunately, having sexual contact with minors is way more common than you would think. So as far as the crime itself, it's not uncommon. I guess the number and some of the facts that you've outlined before, type of person this is, that would be unusual.
I reached out to Yamarino's attorney by phone and spoke to him briefly, but he declined to give any comment at this time. Babin says a trial date should be set soon. For the investigative unit, Bess Casserly, WBRZ News 2.
Gross and disgusting. Katrina, your thoughts?
I just don't understand, like, what a part of a young person's body you see that you're attracted to. This is so sick. You're already married. You got a husband. I mean, if he wasn't fulfilling you whatever needs that you need, you should have let him know. And you could have went to counseling instead of going taking your frustration or your weakness and your sickness to these kids and messing up their life. And don't they know the kids talk? They're gonna tell. They probably giving each other high fives. And then you come in their life and then one of them probably fell in love with you because they're so weak. No, not because they're so weak, because they're young and don't know. But this is so sick and twisted that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the way she sent up there crying, what you crying for? You weren't crying when you was doing it. Like I said, she needs to stay in there. Don't need to go nowhere. She don't need no bond. If it had been somebody else, they wouldn't have got no bond. And you still didn't hear nobody call her no monsters. And you see that she's with minors. So she gets what she get. And I hope Big Judy give it to her when she get in there. That's all I got.
Julius, your thoughts?
I hope Big Susie, Big Wanda, they all jumper. They all jumper. And the fact of the matter is, her daughter. Her daughter said, "Lock her up. I do not have a mother. Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up right now." That's what her daughter said. She refuses to see because she doesn't care of the target and turmoil she is putting her daughter through. And now your daughter is going to have to be in a lifetime of therapy. Hopefully her father is strong enough to advocate for that right now. Because multiple young men, and Katrina is right, they are going to brag, "Man, we bagged this milk." I could already hear it. That's what they doing. Not realizing they were enticed to be aid by an older woman. And that is the sad part, because when it does sink in for them, they are going to have a meltdown to where it's going to take them years as well to recover. And they're going to think it's their fault when it's not. And I want to speak to those young men. It is not your fault. This older heifer knew better. And I'm trying to be dignified. Lord, forgive me, but I'm trying. But this heifer knew better. Her own daughter don't want nothing to do with it, and her daughter's a teenager as well. I hope her daughter, her soon-to-be ex-husband, I hope, and them victims get therapy.
Wayne, your thoughts?
I'm just wondering. I mean, how many others did she assault?
Mm.
Don't know about. I mean, she got caught on this, but how many, prior to this? With this, you don't know unless they start investigating. Because I don't think this is her first rodeo. That's it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they found 6, and she gonna be in jail until she's 70. So good luck to her now. I mean, how disgusting and how embarrassing it is for the daughter. Yes, prayers for all impacted, especially her daughter, to have to live in the neighborhood knowing that your mother was sexting kids, sleeping with kids, sending them just videos and pictures. The daughter is completely disgusted, because when you gonna stand there and just straight up tell the people, you know what, sorry, not sorry, but give my mother the maximum sentence, it's like, whoa, just disgusting. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and roll into the last story. And the last story, I remember when this happened, and it's just so egregious that this woman was allowed to be a menace to society. She had 90 tickets. She should have never been driving. And she literally mowed down a family. She truly has no remorse. And she got a slap on the hand, literally. She got a 3 to 9 year sentence. And she should have never been on the road. Let me share a screen.
Spent 3 to 9 years in prison for mowing down a mother and her children. 33-year-old Miriam Urimi taking a plea deal for killing 3 of the family members back in March.
Fox 5's Arthur Chan is live in Brooklyn, where the community says the sentence is just too light for the crime. Arthur.
Natasha, Steve, it'll happen officially here tomorrow, the sentencing, but already tonight, many are reacting to news that this driver who mowed down this mother and her children back in March will serve as little as 3 years in prison. 33-year-old Miriam Urimi was the driver who plowed into the mother and her 3 children, wiping out that Brooklyn family on Ocean Parkway. Urimi pleaded guilty to manslaughter last month. Now, of her victims, 3 died, including Diana and Deborah, along with their mother. The daughters were just 5 and 8 years old. Their mother, Natasha, was 34. Urimi was driving with a suspended license, and her car had over 90 tickets in the year leading up to the crash. But despite her history, the Brooklyn judge is about to sentence her to 3 to 9 years, and that's despite the Brooklyn DA's request for up to 15 years. Now, in a statement to Fox 5 tonight, Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez says, quote, "The lives of Natasha Seda and her young daughters were stolen by the callous choices of a chronically reckless driver on Ocean Parkway. Though the proposed sentence falls short of the maximum we sought, it will send a clear message that reckless driving that ends in tragedy will be met with serious penalties." Now, we asked a former prosecutor from this very office if as little as 3 years sends a clear message. He explained the law to us.
This is what's called an indeterminate sentence, and so the judge can range. So the minimum is 1 to 3 years. The max is 5-15, and so the judge can basically, what he did was sort of go in the middle of those 2 potential sentences.
Is that just in your view?
It's a situation that obviously on the outside sounds terrible, but for everyone involved, it may be just because it avoids family members of this person, of the deceased, having to come to court and testify.
Now, part of why this 3-year minimum is drawing some attention tonight is because Urimi's driving history, at least 20 of those 90 tickets we mentioned on her car were for speeding, and then at that, the vast majority of them were in school zones. Now, the city had a so-called super speeder law in place that street safety advocates say would have slowed Urimi down, but that law was allowed to expire during Mayor Adams' administration, and they did not replace it. Now, street safety advocates are lobbying once again for Albany to pass a new super speeder law.
The sad truth is that 75% of drivers with suspended licenses continue to drive anyway. This driver had a suspended license, but she still got behind the wheel. And frankly, there are lots of other drivers like her out there. We have to stop them from killing people by physically limiting the speed that their vehicle can travel at if they've proven themselves to be a repeat reckless driver.
That law passed the state Senate this year, but the state assembly held it up. Those advocates hope to take it up again next year and for it to pass next year. As for Urimi's hearing, it will be held here at this courthouse on J Street tomorrow. We'll bring you the latest when it does happen. But for tonight, we're live in downtown Brooklyn. Arthur Chia and Fox 5 News. Steve, Natasha, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Arthur. Social media and
I think, okay, I'll come back to that. Just super sad. Super sad. Let me stop sharing there. This woman was a menace to society and got away with just murder. So wacky Wigmaker given a slap on the wrist sentence for wiping out a family in a horrid New York City crash, tearfully thanks judge for the gracious offer. So an unhinged Brooklyn wigmaker who admitted she mowed down a mom and her two children, two young daughters, in a reckless car crash got a slap on the wrist prison sentence Wednesday and even thanked the judge for his gracious offer. Marion, 32, faced up to 15 years behind bars for the horrific March 29th crash that killed mom Natasha and her daughters Diana 7 and Deborah 5, and they left as they left their religious services, but got a soft 3 to 9 year sentence by Judge Danny Chung. I've been persistent throughout my career that when the defendant offers to plead guilty, generally the maximum offer is not given. When the defendant wants to plead guilty and accept responsibility, the judge said in court. The sweetheart deal did not sit well with the victim's family, their lawyer said. They are quite disappointed or outraged, would probably be a better word. Attorney Herschel said outside the courtroom, even the maximum sentence probably would not be sufficient in this case. This is the bare minimum. He said the family is weighing a wrongful death lawsuit. Asked why the victim's kin didn't attend the sentencing, he said they didn't want to look at her. That is the two sisters that died, and their brother barely survived it. Meanwhile, the widow's husband, Sidney, responded to a text from the Post on Wednesday and said relatives are not out for revenge. I believe this all was an act from God, and we accept it with grace, the text said. We harbor no hatred nor anger towards her or her family. He asked for privacy for his family. Yamani, who has a history of erratic behavior, pleaded guilty last month to charges that she was driving under the influence with a suspended license when her Audi A4 barreled into a Gravesend intersection and plowed over Sadea and her kids, also injuring her 4-year-old son. Yamani had more than 90 traffic violations, including 18 speeding tickets in school zones last year alone before the fatal wreck. When cops arrived at the scene, she claimed she was possessed and had the devil in me, law enforcement sources said. Police said she was driving at twice the speed limit in the 25-mile-per-hour zone before the shocking crash, which also damaged the Uber, was caught on surveillance video. Yamani's attorney, Joseph, defended the lighter sentence. Individuals should not be judged based on their worst moments, he told reporters. People are human beings. Yamani is a human being, and she has a story and a life, and quite frankly, a tragic story. This is not to say that we're diminishing anything that happened in this case, but people have stories, he added. In court Wednesday, a tearful Marion apologized for the deadly collision. I'd like to thank Judge Sean for the gracious offer here, and I have to live with this for the rest of my life, she sobbed. I think that's punishment in itself. I think about the victims every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about what I did. Before announcing the sentence, Sean, who had offered Yamani a slightly lighter 3.5 to 10 year sentence on a plea deal, said he decided for a 3 to 9 deal alternative after getting further mitigating reports on her history. He did not specify what those were. The New York State Office of Court Administration, which speaks for state judges, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Howard Chun has typically been strict in past ruling, including upholding the 2025 murder conviction of grid kid killer John Garcia. The deadly crash has been cited by traffic safety groups who are pushing for state super speeder legislation that would install speed limiter devices in the vehicles of repeat offenders. Natasha and her 2 young daughters should be safe at home, but instead they were killed earlier this year by a super speeder, said Ben Furness, Executive Director of Transportation Alternatives. You know, this is sad because they caught her in phone conversations telling her ex-husband, you know what, you know how to get me out of stuff. You need to get me out of this. Saying that she was not going to apologize to this family because she felt like she was a victim too. And in addition to that, she also said in phone conversations from jail, which is so stupid because they know these phone calls are recorded, that she can play like she's schizophrenic to get out of this. In my opinion, your thoughts?
You know what? I hate to bring this up. I really do, but it must be nice to be the same complexion as her, to be able to get away with it. I don't, you know what? I feel like this woman did this. She didn't give a dang. She didn't care that she took somebody's life. And of course, she took this little sweetheart deal because it was less time for her. She should be serving life behind bars for the rest of her life. She took not only a mother, but she took 2 children along with them. Their life didn't mean nothing to this judge, as he's given only 1 year per life. 1 year per life. She took 3 lives. And she could be out in 3 years, speeding down the road again with that suspended license that she was driving under. Even if they weren't gonna get her for that, they should have still gave her some more time for speeding when she wasn't even supposed to be operating a vehicle. How dare them let this lady out? You know what? I pray that she gets some street justice while she locked up too. I need somebody to give her the good beat down. I want her to be crippled and not be able to drive no more. So at least the kids that's walking the streets won't have to be plowed down by this woman who's been speeding down the road with 90 tickets.
You said that, in my opinion. Julius, your thoughts?
Put the chick on. Can everybody hear me?
Say that again. Yeah.
Can everybody hear me? Put the chick under the jail. Give her a beat down first, then put her under the jail. I'm sick of. Yeah, this is off the cliff Friday revival night. Cause yeah, I'm sick of it. Straight privilege. It must be nice.
Thank you, Julius. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, the judge said that he wanted to be consistent and that when the defendant, completes guilty and accepts, whatever, their responsibility for the crime, he doesn't give them the maximum. And my thing is that you don't think 3 lives were worth the maximum? I mean, how can you say that because this is what you always do? And in the case, like you would you would treat each case different. He said that if they plead guilty, whatever, and accept their, what they did, he doesn't give them the max. Well, every case you should be looking at different because these people certainly should have got this woman. Not only that, for whatever time she served, and I don't think with those looks she's gonna serve that much time, but I hope every day in jail for her is torment in hell. She had the nerve to say that pretty much like what she's going through, that's enough. That's her sentence. She has to live through this, knowing that she did this. So what? Who cares? Do it in jail. I hope the time that she's there, she's just tormented. Because it's just unbelievable, unfathomable to believe that somebody can take 3 lives and shouldn't even been on the street. Now, some of y'all may not like this, but this is what light privilege gets you. I'm done.
Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva, I'm with everybody on this train tonight. The thing that gets me is why they didn't put a boot on her car. If any other people there put a boot on her car, maybe she could have got somebody else's car. I don't know, but more than likely, if she had that many tickets, why didn't they put a boot or something on her car until she paid those tickets off? And then she had to pay to get her license back. And then she had to go to the traffic school for all the tickets that she had. And the thing that get me is they're giving her 3 years for unaliving somebody. And Vera got locked up 11 years for some chicken. This is ridiculous. I know it's in 2 different states and 2 different jurisdictions. I'm just saying, this woman serving 11 years for some chicken, for $1 million of chicken, and this woman unalived 3 people. And I guarantee you, she's not going to do all that time. She'd probably do a year or whatsoever if she can get out on good behavior. This is ridiculous and sad. She don't need no keys in no car. Any type of any car that she gets in, they need to have a device in there so it won't crank up. This is ridiculous for her to get this amount of time. I just don't get it. This is crazy. This is totally crazy. 3 years? And Vera got 11? Okay. Well, I hope she gets some justice in that jail. But as y'all saying with the light privilege, but you got to look at it this way. It wasn't her that got her out of there. It was her boyfriend, ex-husband, whoever that knew the ropes to what to do to get her up out of there. And then the thing of the judge say she admit to a crime, but she in there saying that she gonna pretend like she's schizophrenic. She ain't mentioned to no crime. She did that so she can get the sentence that you gave her. Ain't nobody falling for that bull crap. But yeah, she need to get exactly what she get in that jail, which I don't think that she's gonna be in there that long. But we'll see how it goes. And condolences to the family because they didn't get no justice. That's all I got.
They didn't get no justice, but you know what? God bless them for not being bitter. You know, I would love to get that spirit, like put that on me, because I don't know what I would be able to do if my 2 daughters, my wife, and darn near took my son is gone. And this woman, she really don't have no remorse, and she's hiding money now. So she was an influencer, and I guess she kind of made wigs and sold wigs before she was convicted of this crime. So she's now moving money to her home country because, you know, they are considering a civil suit, and she's moving money. That ex-husband knows somebody, and I think that is the reason why she was able to still drive like that and just have a suspended license and have all of those tickets. Because she literally said, call the judge. And I have a feeling he did exactly what she said, call the judge. And now judge claimed he got something. What can you get? I don't care what I would be able to send if I did that crime. They would have been like, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, Diva. You didn't have a mother. You didn't have a father. You got beat as a kid. You still getting 15 years. And the fact that it was only 15 years for 3 lives is just crazy. Sad. Yeah, she was making wigs. License plate said Wigmaker. I just don't understand it. But listen, guys, chat, y'all know the routine. Chat, you can continue to chat with me in the comments, and when I get opportunity, I will chat back. But y'all also know, if you didn't hit that like button on the way in, do the Diva a favor, hit it on the way out. I'll see y'all tomorrow night for Trending Topics. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo. Love y'all.
Choo choo choo.